Listen to me, because what I'm about to say may challenge everything you've been told about success. Your life is not failing because you lack talent. Your dreams are not delayed because you lack opportunity. Your future is not blocked because the world is unfair. Everything that feels out of place in your life is out of place for one reason only: inconsistency. Not motivation, not intelligence, not luck. Consistency. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait to feel confident. They wait to feel inspired. And while they wait, life moves on. Consistency does not wait for emotion. It moves in spite of emotion. That is why it is powerful. Every great achievement you admire was built by someone who showed up on days they didn't feel like it. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. That repetition is not boring, it is creative force. In the beginning, consistency feels heavy, uncomfortable, unrewarded. Nothing seems to change. But beneath the surface, something is happening. Discipline is being forged. Identity is being rewritten. Momentum is being built. And momentum is invisible, until suddenly it's unstoppable. Most people quit in the invisible phase. They confuse silence with failure. They mistake delay for denial. But the trained mind understands a deeper law. Results lag behind effort, always. Consistency plants seeds long before you see growth. Force yourself to be consistent, not forever, just long enough for order to replace chaos. Because once order appears, everything starts falling into place. Now understand this. Consistency does not survive without belief. You can force action for a few days. You can push discipline for a few weeks. But if belief is weak, consistency will collapse the moment resistance appears. And resistance always appears. Belief is what carries you when motivation disappears. Most people say they believe in themselves. But belief is not words. Belief is revealed when effort produces no applause, when progress feels slow, when doubt whispers, "What's the point?" That is where belief is tested. The consistent person does not argue with doubt. They move anyway. Desire is the fuel behind that movement, not a soft desire, not a polite wish, a burning desire that refuses to negotiate with excuses. When desire is weak, consistency feels like punishment. When desire is strong, consistency feels like alignment. You don't need reminders. You don't need motivation. You need clarity of why. Look back at every great builder in history. They were not always confident. They were not always certain. But they were always committed. Commitment is stronger than confidence. Confidence comes and goes. Commitment stays. Most people fail here. They want results without identity change. They want success without discomfort. But consistency demands something uncomfortable. It demands that you become the kind of person who acts without immediate reward. That is rare. That is powerful. When you force consistency, you are not forcing action. You are forcing identity evolution. Each repetition says, "This is who I am now." And identity shapes behavior. There will be days when nothing feels aligned. Your mind will resist. Your body will complain. Your emotions will lie to you. Those days are not obstacles. They are initiation tests. Pass them and your standards rise. Fail them and the cycle repeats. Consistency does not care about mood. It cares about direction. And direction, sustained long enough, creates destiny. Now listen carefully, because consistency without direction is just movement without meaning. Many people stay busy. Very few stay aligned. And alignment is born from definiteness of purpose. You cannot be consistent for long if you don't know exactly why you are showing up. Clarity is not inspiration. Clarity is decision. It is waking up and knowing what matters and what does not. The moment you gain clarity, mental noise reduces. Distractions lose power. Excuses sound childish. That is when consistency becomes lighter. Every successful individual reached a point where things suddenly clicked. From the outside, it looked like luck. From the inside, it felt inevitable. That click did not come from talent. It came from direction held long enough. They stopped experimenting emotionally and started executing deliberately. Vision plays a role here. Vision is not fantasy. Vision is disciplined imagination. It is seeing the end while respecting the process. When vision is clear, consistency feels purposeful, not forced. You are no longer asking, "Is this working?" You are asking, "How do I refine this?" Most people quit just before alignment happens. They were consistent long enough to get tired, but not long enough to get results. And that is tragedy, because momentum builds silently and reveals itself suddenly. Consistency trains the mind to trust delayed reward, and delayed reward is the language of success. Those who cannot wait will always work for those who can. When your purpose is definite, consistency becomes loyalty to yourself. You stop betraying your future for temporary comfort. You stop negotiating with weakness. You move. This is where life begins to rearrange itself. People respond differently. Opportunities appear. Confidence stabilizes. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Now understand this. There comes a moment when consistency stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like who you are. That moment is built through discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is doing what you said you would do long after the excitement has faded. Most people think discipline limits freedom. It does the opposite. Discipline creates freedom by removing chaos. Action is where discipline proves itself. Not massive action, not dramatic action, daily action, simple, focused, repeated. That is how mountains move. Persistence is what protects action when results arrive slowly, because results are never on your schedule. They test patience, they test faith, they test emotional control. The persistent mind does not panic. It adjusts pace, not direction. At first, you force consistency. Then consistency forces growth. Habits harden, standards rise, excuses disappear. One day you look back and realize something powerful. You no longer need motivation. You move because stopping feels wrong. That is identity shift. This is where most people around you begin to feel uncomfortable. Not because you changed loudly, but because you changed permanently. Your calm scares them. Your focus exposes them. Do not explain yourself. Consistency does not need approval. At this stage, life starts responding. Opportunities appear more often. Resistance feels lighter. Confidence becomes grounded. Not excitement, certainty. Certainty is quiet, but it is heavy. You are no longer chasing results. You are building systems, and systems always win. Now listen, because this is where consistency proves who you really are. Life will test you, not once, not twice, again and again. Pressure will come, delays will stretch, results will go quiet, and in those moments, resilience is not about fighting. It is about remaining standing without bitterness. The consistent person does not collapse under pressure. They compress, and compression creates power. Resilience means this: you keep showing up without changing your standards because of temporary pain. You don't become emotional. You don't become dramatic. You don't become loud. You become solid. That solidity is rare, and life responds to it. Adaptability matters here. Consistency does not mean stubbornness. It means loyalty to purpose, not attachment to method. When the path changes, you adjust your steps, not your destination. Weak minds quit when the plan fails. Strong minds redesign. That is intelligence in motion. Gratitude keeps you grounded during this phase. Not gratitude because everything is perfect, but gratitude because you are still moving. Gratitude protects you from arrogance in progress and bitterness in delay. A grateful mind stays open. An open mind keeps learning, and learning keeps you relevant. Learning is the quiet weapon of the consistent. Every setback teaches, every delay sharpens, every mistake upgrades awareness. The consistent person does not repeat the same error forever. They evolve. That evolution compounds faster than effort. Now we reach self-mastery. Self-mastery is not control over others. It is control over reaction. You no longer react to noise. You no longer chase validation. You no longer explain your pace. You trust your process. And that trust is visible. Here is the truth most people miss. When you become consistent, life stops testing your intentions and starts rewarding your identity. Things fall into place not suddenly, but inevitably. Right people, right timing, right opportunities. Not because you forced them, but because you became aligned. Consistency creates order. Order attracts opportunity. Opportunity rewards readiness. That is the sequence. So force yourself to be consistent. Not forever, just long enough for chaos to lose its grip and structure to take over. Do it when it's boring. Do it when it's quiet. Do it when no one is watching. Because one day, everything will make sense. And when it does, you won't need to announce it. Your life will speak for you.